Hi, my name is Tim Healy and I'm running for Superior Court Judge in Department 2. I am truly honored and humbled by all the support that I've received and the new friends that I've made while running my campaign. And for that, I wanted to say thank you. Now with this video, I would like to talk with you a little bit about why I'm running for Superior Court and why I believe that I'm the most qualified candidate for Department 2. Now, I've been married to my best friend, Rachel, for about 10.5 years, and we've lived in the Valley Springs area for the past 12. Rachel's actually lived in Calaveras and worked as a peace officer for the past 20 years. We're raising our two children, Lucas and Shayla, here in Calaveras. They're both active in sports, Cub Scouts, and Girl Scouts, and I even get the opportunity to help coach my son's football team. Recently, our judge of many years, Douglas Mawhinney, retired, and when he did so, Governor Jerry Brown made a temporary and political appointment of my opponent, Hugh Swift, to hold that position until we, the people of Calaveras County, could vote for ourselves who we wanted for Superior Court Judge, Department 2. Now, over the course of the campaign, one of the most common questions I get, in fact, it's the question I'm asked the most, and that is, why should you vote for me? Well, the simple answer is courtroom experience practicing law. I am the only candidate for Department 2 who has practiced law in the courtroom within the last 15 years. And I'm the only candidate for Department 2 who has ever practiced criminal law in the courtroom. Practicing law in the courtroom is so very important because it's the core foundational building block for every judge. It's how attorneys learn to advocate for their clients. It's how attorneys learn to understand the law and how to understand the operation of a courtroom and how it works and how it's supposed to work. But more important than that, practicing law in the courtroom is how attorneys learn to understand the rules of evidence that are so very important in every case. The rules of evidence are what dictate how evidence is accepted and admitted into court. A judge sitting on the bench without extensive experience practicing law in the courtroom is going to have a very difficult time understanding how the rules of evidence work within the context and apply to the cases that they're dealing with every day. Now, criminal law, or practicing criminal law in the courtroom, is so very important because over 75% of the cases that are filed in Calaveras County are criminal. And over 65% of the cases that are actually heard in court are criminal. That doesn't even include infractions. It includes misdemeanors, felonies, and violations of probations and juvenile matters. Now, reading about criminal law in a book is simply not the same as practicing criminal law in the courtroom. My opponent has never practiced criminal law in the courtroom. Another aspect of why criminal law is so very important is because of the constitutional issues, those constitutionally guaranteed rights that all of us have. They are extremely nuanced and are very difficult to learn by simply reading them in a book. That's why you have to practice law on a regular basis to understand the right to a speedy trial, the right to an attorney, the right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures, and the list goes on. If you have not practiced law in court, practiced criminal law in court, those concepts are going to be very difficult for you to master. It will take my opponent 14 years to gain the criminal law experience that I already have. Now, as I've said, I've been a prosecutor now for about 14 years, and I have extensive criminal law experience. In fact, I have unmatched courtroom experience practicing law. That is the major difference between me and my opponent. My opponent last practiced law in the courtroom 15 years ago. For the last 10 years, he has worked as a court administrator. He's been mainly as a court administrator. He has been the court executive officer in Amador County, and then when he was appointed by Governor Jerry Brown, he was the court executive officer here in Calaveras County. This is a job that is non-judicial. It's a non-legal position that does not require a law degree, and it does not require a 4-year college degree. I have have handled over 1,000 criminal cases in court. In a 13-year career as a civil attorney, my opponent was the attorney of record in 100 cases. I have helped prosecute over 30,000 criminal cases. My opponent has never practiced criminal law in court. I have extensive experience practicing law in the courtroom that is simply unmatched by my opponent. Currently, I am the head of the Child Abduction Unit for the San Joaquin County District Attorney's Office, where I work with civil, family, and international law. We are tasked with assisting the family law courts in enforcing their family law orders for custody and visitation. Having the right person to be your next judge in Department 2 is extremely important, and that's because your next judge will sit for years in court hearing cases and deciding cases for our community. And you should have your next judge should be the person with the most courtroom experience practicing law, not an administrator whose job had nothing to do with the law. I am that person. My opponent, Hugh Swift, was Governor Jerry Brown's choice. Let me be your choice for Calaveras County and Superior Court Judge in Department 2. On November 4th, I sure could use your help, your support, and your vote. Please vote for me, Tim Healy, for your next Superior Court Judge in Department 2. Thank you.